And now for our third and final segment. This segment is extremely important, so Gail and I will cover the material with you. What you learn from this section can help keep you safe. Consider this. What happens when a customer, patient, or client is more than just a little upset? Sometimes conflicts increase in intensity rapidly or over time. This is called escalation.
That's right, Dr. Bill. Escalation includes an increase in the number of issues being debated, an increase in hostility, tension, or competitive behavior, an increase in the frequency of repeated conflicts, and an increase in the intensity of conflicts. So here's the next question. What causes escalation? Conflicts typically escalate when a customer or client feels unsafe, ignored, or disrespected. We did a poll with our online viewers to see what causes of escalation they have experienced. Let's take a look at the list they came up with. Fear, anger, peer pressure, presence of weapons, pride, drugs, alcohol, lack of personal space, raised voices and/or tone of voice, facial expressions, self-esteem issues, poor communication, body language.
We can watch out for the causes like Gail said, and we can also watch for early warning signs of escalation. Knowing what to look for may help you prevent a situation from getting out of hand. Some early warning signs of escalation include change in mood, change in level of anxiety, pacing, movement toward, away from you, shifts in tone and type of speech, changes in baseline behaviors, shifting eye contact, becoming watchful, scanning and/or assessing, concentration problems, disorganized behavior, jerky, uncontrolled movements.
Wow, those are some really great things to watch out for in our own personal lives too. Some telltale warning signs of escalation are visible in a person's face and body. When dealing with an upset or enraged customer and/or patient, watch for the following signs of dangerous escalation. Pale or flushed face, lips drawn tightly over teeth, eyebrows dropped, covering eyes, chin lowered to protect neck, rapid, deep breathing, clenched fists, stance shifts from square facing you to angled, body movement stops completely, rocking from heel to toe, entire body lowers to lunge forward.
What do you think you should do when you notice the warning signs of escalation?
Wow, that's a great question, Dr. Bill. You should actively work to de-escalate the situation. De-escalation is the process of taking steps to decrease the intensity of a conflict. The goal of de-escalation is to build a sense of connectedness with the agitated person in order to reduce the threat of escalation to danger or violence. De-escalation is about creating a sense of connection between you and the agitated customer, patient, or client. It's a powerful tool that can help you resolve conflicts without the use of force. How we react to a situation determines whether a situation escalates or de-escalates. By learning to use specific verbal, psychological, and body language techniques, you can actually control your own responses to the threat of escalation. When you're in control of your own reactions, you communicate better and are more equipped to guide the interaction back to a calmer state.
Well, like my cousin Phil always says, when you allow a person's words to upset you, you're giving away your power.
Well, that's actually perfect. So, here's how it works. De-escalation can be broken down into 3 main steps: awareness, assessment, action. Bill, why don't you go over the first step, awareness?
All right, I will. Be aware of the warning signs of escalation in other people. Rapid breathing, flushed face, clenched fist, jerky movements, etc. Also, be aware of your own triggers, hot buttons, and tendencies. Maybe you have need for control. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep. Maybe you're hungry. Maybe you have a competitive nature. Maybe you're a people pleaser. All those things you need to be aware of. Be aware of the triggers, hot buttons, and tendencies of those around you. Do they have a history of violence? Do they seem socially anxious? Perhaps drugs or alcohol have come into play. Maybe they have low self-esteem. Things like that.
Great. Okay, I'll take the second step, assessment. Take a moment to assess the situation before making a plan for action. Assess your environment. Calmly look around you for weapons within reach, escape routes, and natural barriers. Assess the threat level. Consider whatever information you have about the individual and avoid any triggering statements or movements. And finally, assess and adjust your state of mind. Stay calm, centered, and confident, even if you feel scared or anxious. The calmer you appear to be, the less likely you are to escalate the aggression. I learned this tip, and it's very important. When assessing a situation, remember to maintain limited eye contact. If you look away or avoid their eyes entirely, this may be interpreted as an expression of fear, a lack of interest, or a rejection. If you maintain intense or excessive eye contact, this may be interpreted as a threat or a challenge. So, when assessing the situation, remember to maintain limited eye contact. There are specific physical, nonverbal actions you can take or avoid taking to help de-escalate a situation. Let's divide these up, Dr. Bill. So first, you keep your facial expression neutral, calm, and attentive. Actively listening to someone while remaining calm and composed will likely reduce their level of hostility. Dr. Bill?
Keep a relaxed and alert posture. Avoid aggressive stances. Stand up straight with your feet shoulder width apart. Balance your weight evenly on both legs.
And here's another one. Minimize your body movement. Avoid excessive hand gestures, pacing, fidgeting, or shifting your weight from one foot to the other. These subtle movements can indicate anxiety, which will most likely agitate the other person and increase hostility. Okay, Dr. Bill, it's your turn again.
Try to remain at the same eye level as the other person. If possible, encourage the agitated person to sit down. If they insist on standing, you should also stand up.
And avoid pointing or shaking your finger. These hand signals are nonverbal signs of judgment or blame and can escalate a situation further.
Use extreme caution when touching an agitated person. In most cases, avoid touching. You never know when touching is culturally appropriate. Touching can easily be misinterpreted or perceived as a threat, especially in people with cognitive differences, where touching may trigger hostility.